All right, so the simplest kind of command injection is where you get to inject a bash command line right in Linux. And if you don't know any Linux command line, there's a couple of ways to practice it here. I wrote a very simple one here where you just learn a few commands like ls and cat and nano and things like that. So if you don't know like the top 10 Linux commands, they're here. And if you actually want a good organized introduction to Linux, there's this thing called Linux Journey, which is fantastic, that takes you through everything you need to know to pretty much understand how to do the normal simple things in Linux. So those are perfectly good things to do. And if that's all you do, that's fine. I mean, if you know, this class is not about making sure everybody reaches the same finish line. I just hope everybody learns something new. And if you don't know the Linux command line, that's an important thing to learn. But if you do know some simple Linux commands, then you can exploit vulnerable forms like this. And here's a classic one you see a lot. This is something that's true of many routers. They have a page that lets you test your internet connection. So you can put in an IP address like this, and you can ping that IP address. And then it will show you the results of the ping. And that's fine, but the problem is the coder that wrote this page, which would be me, didn't bother to figure out how to actually do a ping inside PHP. They just took this from the user and added it after the word ping and executed it in the shell and did it without filtering it. So this actually creates a command line that is ping minus C2 followed by this number. And so you can just add another command after the ping, after the IP address. So I can put semicolon ls, and then it does the ping, and then it executes ls. So you can execute code on the server. Now there's some limitations. For example, you are not the administrator. I can say, who am I? And you'll find out that you are www.data, which is the Apache web user, which is not administrator, not root. So you can't do just anything on the server, like install software, but you can do quite a bit. And as you see, there's a flag here to find, and there's some other flags hidden on the folder. So you have a command shell essentially on the server, and that's what command injection gives you. So that's the simplest case, where you can just type commands right there, and all you need is a semicolon to get them in. Sometimes you have command injection, and it's a little more complicated than that. So here's ImageMagick. This is a vulnerability that was all over the place a few years ago. ImageMagick was a very common image processing library, and all kinds of web pages used it if they were Linux-based. So you could upload a file. Let's find a file someplace. I should have like a GRAYHAT image. Okay, open image in new tab. Let's save that image. All right, I'm going to put it in downloads and grayhat.ping, that's fine. Okay, so now I'm going to upload that image, and we'll see how this image processor works. So I choose the file, and there it is, GRAYHAT, okay. And then I upload the image. So what it does is it makes a thumbnail of a certain size, and if you click it, you see the image at full size. This is the thing you'd see in your profile on a social network or anything. And I actually show the command line here. And this is the ImageMagick library, has various commands, and this uses the convert command to convert it to a thumbnail 300 by 300 and so on. So that's fine. The vulnerability, however, comes here. If you make a text file, including this content, this is the proof of concept that somebody developed. Let me bring up a text editor page and put that in. All right, and just save that. I'm going to do file, save. I'm going to put that in downloads and call it exploit.jpg. All right, so it claims to be an image, a JPEG, but it's not an image, it's just text. And it's fine, I'll place the old one. All right, so this text, what happened in ImageMagick is for some reason they decided to let you add text to your image file that would then modify how it shows up. So you can specify a size and then fill this rectangular size with a color. And then for some reason, they decided to let you specify the color from a web page. So you can fill from a URL, and then you put a URL in here. And the point is, when they implemented that, they did the same sleazy thing I did with ping. They just used curl followed by whatever URL was in there, and they forgot to sanitize out the special characters. So the special characters you can use here are a little different, but if you do have the right special characters in setup, you get a point where you can just execute arbitrary command lines. And here it does echo hello and date. So if I upload that image, which is exploit.jpg, and it processes it, it can't actually make the thumbnail, but you see it did execute those commands, hello and date. So again, you have arbitrary command execution, but the format to set it up is a little different, and you can add extra commands here. So you can just go here and say add an ls and save that and upload it again. Choose file, exploit, upload, and now see it does hello, a date, and now it prints a list of files. So again, there are a couple of flags hidden on the server that you have to tease out, and some of them are a little hard to find the flag in, and on you go. So there's a few command injection things to start with. This is the simplest command injection where you just get to execute command line bash on the server. So give it a shot. I'll post this video.